Howdy, 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 folks. We are hanging out with Open Mic Night. This idea was created by AR Guns sitting here with us. A chance to find out what our audience is actually doing in their shooting hobbies, reloading hobbies, casting hobbies, you doing anything outdoors related, you want to talk about it, come in and talk about it. I don't care if you're shooting air pistols and air rifles. If it has anything to do with outdoor sporting activities that are gun or fishing, even anything really, we're pretty much wide open tonight, and we want to get you on here and let you tell us about what you do in your hobbies and what you do in your reloading or your shooting, and let us in on it. So if you want to do that, feel free to come on, and I am going to drop a link in the side chat. Let me see. Yeah, I can do that.
New channels, anyone starting out, come on in. You're welcome. We want to get to know you.
Yeah, we're always promoting new channels in the Second Amendment type related communities, whether you're reloading, casting, you're shooting, you're a gun range owner, anything like that, or you're just a brand new shooter that wants to learn a little bit more about the sport you just entered into. We're for you. We want to help you. We want to help you buy the right products that you need to get to make your hobby a little bit more enjoyable. Whatever it is, we're open. That's why it's Open Mic Night. AR, why don't you go ahead and read off at who we got in the side chat there and see if anybody is taking us up on anything.
Hey, everybody. It's good to have you here. Appreciate you dropping in. We want, like Echo said, we want to get some new channels in here, promote your channel, whatever you want to do. We'll do it. We're not going to be stiff, or we're going to be flexible with this. Jason Stewart, good to see you. Me, I'm there, huh? Okay. Gun Loving Grandpa, G23. Welcome, brother. G20. Gun Loving Grandpa, Jason Stewart. That's about all we got. Wait a minute, we got more than that. G23, I said. Andy, Z28, 79, Z28. Good to see you, Andy, as always, man. You come on too, Andy. It's not your bedtime yet, is it? I go to bed early too. At least I try sometime, Andy. When I can get rid of Echo, he wants to pull me into these streams and backside chats. But anyway,
I just dropped a link. That link I dropped was to AR Guns. So I made an error. Hold on, give me 2 seconds, and I will find the right link.
Info Bros, good to have you here. Good to see you again. Let's see who else. Says 14 watching. I did call out Gun Loving Grandpa, didn't I? I hope I didn't miss you. Sometimes you get talking, you forget that. Eagle Run 23, good to see you.
Eagle, I'm throwing a link in the chat because I'm slower than Christmas. So.
Oh, that's Eagle, isn't it? The one on the show, right?
If that is it, Eagle Reloading.
And it says Eagle Run 23. I thought maybe.
Yes, that's him. That's him. He's got 2 channels.
Okay. James Pollard's here. Hey, James. Michael Hurtnick. Everybody wants to say Hurtnick. I got a feeling it's not pronounced that way, but if I'm wrong, you let me know. If it's Hurtnick or Hurtnick. Somebody should have asked you that a while back. But, glad to see you on here. MCK's here. Good to see you. Rich White's here. Got a few in here. And actually, Echo, he's
slow as Christmas.
We're staring at his presses. M. Gabriel's here. Welcome.
That's my best view. That's my best view.
He says, "What is that brass?" 458 SOCOM.
No, that is actually 300 black that I'm still working through.
And I'm doing 223556 right now, dumping powder with the lead powder scale, the little powder dip. So just for something to do. I got to load it anyway. It's ball powder H335. So Eagle Run, just a second. K24 is here. GGW, hey. MK Joe, hey. Rich White, good to see you all. Appreciate you dropping by.
Hey, Rich. GGW, what are you fellas up to this evening? Glad you came by. Trying to see here.
Watch me double dump powder talking. But I got
that's okay. If you do double dump, that's all right because I will laugh. This out.
I got a little pen light here, guys, but check this big giant torch out. Big. This will knock you out. It's so big. Kind of like the old what is those Maglite? But it's not Maglite. It's actually a China police security flashlight. I've had this thing for years. My daughter gave it to me for Christmas. But it's a torch. There. It'll shine through the treetops and everything out there. But I gotta look and check on the powder. Make sure I know I dumped it. Yep. Okay. So what have you guys been up to? How's your holiday going? Hope it's going good. Let me see.
I hope you're not doing anything but relaxing.
Eagle Run says, I just did a breakdown on how much I have spent getting started reloading. Oh, yeah. I've been there, Eagle.
Eagle, here's a little something for you to remember. Don't do that. Bad idea.
Go down the hole. Go down the hole and drown. I drowned. Actually, I did. But you get into a hobby, you just want to do that sometimes, and you'll end up. You got to watch it though. If you keep your eyes off the toys, you'll be okay. But if you don't, you get that gleam in your eye, and you got to buy it. You'll sit there and think about it for a few months. It's habit forming. We were running a couple of minutes late. AR got his arm caught in a toaster, and yeah. You were showering your hair. I was waiting on you. I was still running back and forth.
It's okay, bro. It's okay. You don't.
I forgot I had my lawnmower out there, and it got rained on. I just painted the shaft on it. Got that done, and I had to go out there a few minutes ago and get it. It was out there, so I said, "Oh my goodness."
Hey, Jason, what's going on, brother?
Good evening, fellas. How you doing?
Hey.
I'm still trying to pin a link, dude. That's how slow I am.
Yeah, these cameras will make this whole area look kind of strange. The cheap Logitech cameras. So what you been up to, Jason?
Not a whole lot, but something's been on my mind. I've been wanting to ask you, because you didn't go into it, but a couple of minutes. The other day on one of these, you started showing your die there setup that has a dial indicator on it. Now, I'd seen that last few weeks. I was wanting to ask about that, and you kind of just briefly touched about how you're using that in a seating die, and I just wondered maybe if you wouldn't mind going over that again.
Okay. Oh boy, I got a video on it, but I will show you and kind of go over it a little bit. That's a good idea. Appreciate you coming on with a question. Okay, I'm doing 223, so it takes a number 10 ready shell holder. What you want me to show you how you set it up and everything? The entire instant indicator?
I was just wondering if you could describe it. Like
okay.
What are you? I haven't seen dies with an indicator, so I'm just wondering what method you're using to use that in conjunction. I kind of got it that you were checking them and moving them back and forth. I just wanted you to, just go a few more minutes on that, maybe.
All right. Yeah, that's great. Glad you asked. Here, you get a tube. It's a instant indicator. You get a little thing almost like a dice box. Actually, it is a die box. It's just relabeled. You get in the thing and an instant indicator, which is semi-spec with a shoulder bump gauge, basically. You could actually put three, this is 223. I have a 308 version of this too in a box. I have had both of them on here at one time, but not lately. And I've actually checked it, reading this thing that sets up the shoulder bump headspace. I've actually used a Climor case gauge and checked the Reading 308, and it has turned out basically dead on. And this here probably is too. If it's off, it's only 1,000. I kind of doubt that, 1,000th of an inch. But you get that in a kit. It's a little brass, basically almost like a headspace gauge, except it's for this. So look at it that way. It actually tells you it'll set your gauge up to semi-min, to 0 semi-min. I won't get into, I'm going to cover just a simple topic on that. I won't cover the whole thing because it'll get confusing. Excuse me. What you do, you basically, you get your gauge. Here, I'll just take it and turn it. I'll just go ahead and see it. There we go.
Elliot, what does that gauge actually do?
It measures, it does several things. It measures shoulder bump, headspace. You can see exactly where you're at.
Okay, it shows the headspace in the rifle
at 0 semi-min.
Okay, but explain it.
It shows you get a 0 semi-min case gauge. You set this gauge up. You set it in here. It's basically what the same thing as factory. All ammunition is loaded to a semi-min, and that's the semi-minimum. That's the standard that all the industry has. And you can find out and set this up, and you will be at 0. And everything you size with competition shell holders and with your brass, you'll be able to look at your brass and see exactly where it's at. Is it 1,000ths under semi-min, 2,000ths? Brand new brass is typically, if I bring 308 over here, brand new Lafua brass, never been sized, the neck was sized with a bushing die. It's typically 1,000th thou to 2,000 under semi-min, which is a safe place for the industry standard out there. Is that making sense, Echo? And
yeah, I'm following you right along.
You follow me? I should ask you, Jason. Sorry about that. So what we do is, let me raise this up here, make sure this is right. The cam over. Yep. We put it in there. I think Cowboy's covered this a lot too. I know he has over the years. And so I make this gauge at, you probably can't see it, but I'm making it at 12 o'clock. All right. I'm going to wiggle it if I can see without glasses. Let's get it up there.
Basically, you're making the 0 on that gauge.
Yeah, I'm zeroing
at the 12 o'clock position so that it's straight up.
Yeah. And sometimes it's usually easy, but you know how YouTube does.
Yeah, as soon as you turn a camera on.
Yeah, I usually set it up just a second. Why it's a booger, I don't know. There we go. All right, locked in. You got a little nut on it, little black thing. It's got it's etched. So you tighten that up. It's 0 right now. Now you zero your gauge out to 0. You tighten that other. Okay, right now we're at semi-min 0. That's what all the industry standard is on everything. Even the factories produce. Everything they produce is based off this 0. That's how they keep their machines producing for hours and thousands of rounds. They know that machine is sitting there, boom, boom. Of course, mine's not automated. Theirs is. And it's just constantly boom, 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 putting out ammo. And that's how they follow it. Actually, they probably got, I haven't seen the equipment up close. I have seen it on YouTube a few times, but I kind of understand it. And so they set it up. And usually once you set a machine up, if it's got nuts and bolts or whatever you got there and you set it, it usually stays. And so they just keep producing ammo all day long, 24/7. And here we're doing it in slow motion, except we got a gauge here to look at it to see where we're at. That's the good thing about the instant indicator. And I've actually compared this against the Hornady, which is not an absolute it's a comparator, not a headspace gauge, really. And it's not far from it, actually. But that will vary from person to person on those Hornady gauges because they're not for measuring, actually. It only measures what you can compare it to, like measure your case unfired, measure your case fired. And then you bump it back, whatever, 3 thousandths for 223, 308 bolt action, was it 4 thousandths? You bump back. So, all right, I got that right. Okay. I take this out. I'll go over this individually in time, but I'll do this for you now. All right, we got that set to 0. We basically put this away. We don't want to drop this thing because it could throw off the headspace. And factories probably have a version of this on their equipment and their machines, some way to check their headspace. Probably they take a round off and got an adjustment, and they'll go over to some machine and go, yeah, we're running okay. And that's what I suspect because I've been in manufacturing most of my whole life. I've just never been on a place that made ammo. That's the only part. All right, you take your brass. Let me find some. Like I'll give you an example. I got brass over here. All right, I just picked it up. I know what it's sized to because I did it. And I stick it in there and I want to say, well, where is this brass at? Now, see, a new reloader don't have that option typically. They start out with a Lee press or Redding or whatever, and they go, I can't afford all this stuff. And believe me, it was hard for me to afford. I did it over a slow period of time. But this tells you a lot. Okay, so I'm going to raise it up in there, and it's actually almost 5 thousandths bumped under Sammy Min, which means if I can put powder in, it's okay, but it's going to stretch more. It's way low, way 0 min under the chamber size. So it's actually insufficient headspace, too much. It's too loose. We need to bring it up at least to 0, maybe 2 thousandths over average, especially on a boat gun. So that's okay. I can still shoot this and blow it out. But typically I want to size to 0 or 1 or 2 thousandths over 0 min. 1 or 2 on some, like on a 308, for example. If I bump it to 0, it'll chamber really good. If I bump it, say to 1 thousandths and a half over, and I put it in a boat gun, I'll close the boat down and it'll be real stiff. It depends on the chamber and what gun, of course. And I'll turn the boat and it'll go, okay, that headspace is too tight. And then I'll come over here and I'll either turn the dial down or use instant indicators, and I'll adjust that some. The Redding competition shell holders are not exact. They're exact, but the brass is not exact because it has spring back. So, a lot of range brass is going to be kind of over the board a little bit. You'll get it 0, you may get it 1,000 over, but on AR you don't really care. But at least you know where it's at with this gauge. This gauge is great to have. Back when I got it, it was like 159, 69 bucks. I think now it's like probably 190. I wouldn't doubt it if you can even get it. And I got it years ago. So we know where that is. That tells us that's 5 thousandths under Sammy Min. That means the brass is not going to seal in the chamber as good. It's actually the headspace is pulled back from the actual chamber. It's a little loose, insufficient headspace. And I think I got that word right in that description. So basically, I want to bump 0 and a little over for AR. If it was a boat rifle, I'd keep it around maybe. It's hard to say on a boat rifle because I've seen some. I got a 30-06. Believe it or not, I can blow out a piece of brass. I can go out in the backyard and shoot it, bring it in here, and guess what? It has no blowout. It has almost 0 Sammy Min. Now, why? Because that's a tight chamber, apparently. It's the only thing I can figure. But maybe if I kept, reloading it and shoot it probably would blow it out a little further. I'm sure it would. But I've actually tested that theory. That's why I know that. And but that's what it is, the instant indicator, and you use competition shell holders to control the bump. And they're about 50 bucks for this. So does that make sense, Jason? Or do you want?
Yes, it does. I was just, like I said, I've been seeing that gauge for a while, and I was wondering what's he doing with a gauge on there? And I understand that's a Redding product. I haven't seen that, from RCBS or Lee or anybody like that. So I was just wondering what it is and how you were using that.
Yeah.
So I understand the Hornady comparator gauge sets for your micrometer and stuff, your caliper. Yeah, I understand all that. It's just a different version of doing it, and you can do it right there on the press. I kind of like that.
And this is also really actually accurate, where the Hornady is more of a comparator to compare what was before it was shot and after it blew out. And then you adjust your die and you size your die. Then you put the comparator on and go, oh, I bumped it back 0.02 of an inch.
No,
or 1,000. This actually is minimum here, zero min.
The other day, were you saying you could use that for like measuring your overall length for when you're seating your bullet?
Yes, you can. It has a you do that because it's got an insert in here. Let me see. This thing not only takes head space, it also does. I'll go over this briefly. I'm not going to set it up though for the stream, but I'll go over it briefly. It comes with the gauge for the gauge for your shoulder. Right there, a little brass thing. I know it's hard to see in that little small picture. Echo won't zoom in, blow me up. Blow my face off.
Do what? Hold on. Let me blow you up there.
Let me put it way up there.
Let me find the little picture there. Is that? Oh my God.
Oh, there we go.
See, it looks like the shoulder of a brass. Basically, a go and no-go gauge like you would buy for the chamber. That's how this is set up.
That's set at 0 SAMI minimum. And the reason why they make SAMI minimum why they have it is so that they have a range to set up different cartridges so that they will function in every produced manufacturer's weapon in that caliber. So they make them at 0 SAMI spec, which is undersized of most chambers. So when we fire these rounds in our rifles and they expand to our chamber, they kind of duplicate what our chamber looks like. And if you reload that brass and it's a bolt gun, I tend to just neck size it and not resize the body of the case a few different times. But eventually I have to, because the case will grow and grow and eventually you just run out of room. Other guys will like to bump the shoulders back 2,000s on a bolt gun, but on a semi-automatic they'll go 4,000s, and that's 4,000s from where that cartridge expands to, or 2,000s from where that cartridge expands to after it's been fired. Basically 0 SAMI is way small, and if you're bumping back to 0 SAMI, it will function in any weapon you want to fire it in, but it will also work hard in the brass because you're moving it so far back and forth constantly.
I don't neck size. I full length size with bushings and control neck tension that way. Echo has the what is it? You call it mandrel Lee system where he squeezes the neck. I always full length size. Like if I buy a brand new 308 brass here, I got it over there, and I get it from Lapua, and I stick it in here with my bushing die. Guess what? I don't size nothing. All I size is the neck when it's brand new. I will adjust the tension on it with that bushing that I chose, and that's all I got to do. Even though it's completely went into the die itself, they have already sized it as small as that thing will ever be. We will never size it that small. Is what it is now from the factory, even Lapua brass. So when you put it in there and put it in a full length die or a bushing die, whatever, you will notice that it has no friction. It'll just go down the whatever, either a full length die, it'll size the neck, and that's it. And you want to do that to make sure you got neck tension in your whole entire box of brand new Lapua brass, like 308, for example. A lot of people don't know that. You're really not really sizing that cartridge typically. I got 100 over here, and I haven't sized not one single one. I did it, but there's no sizing to it because they're small. They're smaller from the factory. And I did just the neck tension with, I think, number 34, 35 bushing. I can't remember now. I think it's probably 35. And even the bushing you pick for a Redding Type S die is based on how thick your brass is. And I don't want to go into that tonight. That's a little more complex. But it's a good thing to have. It really is. And also it has the little insert here. Blow it up, Echo. Let me show you all. It looks like a...
Hold on, I'm blowing you up.
Like a big
and
washer.
Welcome G23.
It's a little... That right there would do this right here, and I'll show you. Hang on a minute. so you can see it, Jason. I can put that in the instant indicator, and it will go down to the ogive like that, and I can size all my bullets to the same. I can check the seating depth of everything on that gauge too, by a gauge, not just by a Hornady. I'll actually see it on here too. So it shows bullet seating depth in case overall length. Now, granted, when I set up, I'll measure from the tip. Then I can also put it in here and switch over to there, or I can get the Hornady gauge and use a bullet comparator. There's two types of comparators: bullet, and then there's the brass comparator.
Okay. Hey, real quick.
So
I'm putting in the side chat a link to Eagle Reloader.
Okay.
Eagle Reloads chat, or his YouTube channel. My brain is just shot. Yeah, Eagle Reloads. I just posted a link to his website, or his channel. Good Lord, what's wrong with me?
Did you understand that, Jason?
I sure did. And if Redding or Midway USA or anybody's listening, AR just helped sell some of your products to me. So
appreciate it.
Take care of him in the future.
Here's another one, Jason. Now this is another bushing that will measure your overall length of your brass, correct overall length. So I can do three functions: headspace, bullet seating depth, and overall brass length. I can run it through real fast, bam, 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 through the shell holder, and I'll know exactly where that brass is sitting without having to take my calipers and worry about that. For constantly having to put the calipers on. There we go. Okay, that's there, and I know where my length is. And,
I'm just not familiar. I haven't seen other die companies with this much. How can I say it? Capabilities in their equipment. Is that like something like specialty from Redding that I should be investing in Redding for my rifle? Because
it's more expensive. They got other things for your shoulder bump. RCBS has a little shoulder bump gauge. Wooden Gunworks, wooden guns, they have a little shoulder bump gauge. You basically put your brass in there and turn it, screw it down. This is just a more expensive system. It's probably, actually, I don't know anybody else that makes it. Do you, Echo? I don't think nobody does. It's a thing from Redding. And,
that particular application unit that Redding has is patented.
Yeah.
Yeah, that you can't even copy if you wanted to.
So it does three functions.
Yeah, it does three functions. It'll do overall length of the bullet. It will do
of the cartridge.
Of the overall length of the cartridge. Case overall length. And then it'll do the headspace. And what else does it do? I can't remember the third function because I only use those two.
It tells you where your brass is trimmed to, your overall length of your brass before you put a bullet in. Yeah. So you know where your trim length will be. So if I sit here and trim everything, I can run it through here and check my trim length with that big one I showed you, that last one.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Would it be possible then, like in a turret, to set that up for trim length and then have like the Lee press mounted hand trimmer right next to it? Is that a possible setup?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Matter of fact, I'll tell you some things I do with this system that a lot of people probably don't even know about. And I'd only know it because I worked in manufacturing. And I told my son this a few years ago. I go over there and I run my 650. And because I got this gauge system, I can constantly monitor on my 650 and my shoulder bump brass occasionally, just like a manufacturer can. I just pull it out, bring it over here. Okay, it's still bumping at 1,000 over or 2,000 over. I may have did, like Echo said, 4,000 bump back somewhere in that ballpark. And I can use it as a quality control system.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at it for too. So I really like that. Any benefit you think to having maybe two of these gauges at least, so you don't have to change the inserts? Or is it quick and easy to change the inserts? I'm not concerned with the price. I'm concerned with the quality and you know what I mean, basically, and the ease of use.
Yes, you could buy two of these, three of these, and it would do all three functions in. But you'd spend Oh God, 190 times
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
plus
I get
tax.
that, but
Yeah.
you know.
hmm Absolutely. Yeah, you could have one setting for shoulder space. I mean, for bump back. You'd have one for overall length of your cartridge with the bullet seating. Then you have one to check brass. And you can just, as you're working and trimming, you throw it in there and you go, okay. I went 1,000 over that time. You know, where a caliper shows, you know, like what is it, 1.455, say on Hornady gauge. This don't say 1.455, but you still know where it's at because it's a zero gauge. You know, it tells you if it's 2,000 shoulder back bump. Tells you if the case overall length is at you set it up at zero. You know, say if I set this case up, I would set it once I set the bullet length, for example, and I say that's where I want it at with a caliper. Then I bring it in here and I adjust this out and I zero this to it. That way, everything I check would be matching or at least close to it. You're gonna have some variation just because of the way the nature of seating dies, the way they work. Now you can. I said this the other night. If you crank up your micrometer 1,000 or 2, you can literally come over here. I said this before, but I'll say it tonight because I'm in a better position to say it more clearly. You can actually sit here and seat your bullet and seat it a little long and actually crank down 1,000 or 2 if you know it's over by looking at this gauge, and you can absolutely get your bullet, every single bullet, dead on what you want. You can't do that with a lot of gauges. No systems that I know of. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. And so your seating depth would just match every single one, just like that. And a lot of people, you know, if you're OCD like Echo and me, you want everything just as precision as you can get it. Especially if you're doing a right precision rifle, definitely, and doing target stuff or competition or whatever you choose to do in the sport. But yeah, it's a good gauge.
Cool. I'm definitely going to look into that, and I'm probably most likely going to get some of that and try it out. So I'm a former machinist. So, you know, one thing I watch all these videos, and it almost, not to badmouth anybody, it makes me cringe when I hear people say close enough. You know, that just gets me, you know, not a pet peeve. I don't get crazy, but it sends a little chill through me. Close enough. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I think in reloading, Jason, when you see a lot like, I won't say who on YouTube, they'll go close enough. It's usually like if I'm trying to do 1.455 and it's 1.455.5, that's usually when we say close enough. So if you ever hear a reloader over that Hornady, that's what they're talking about. It's not enough to really matter. So
we're not going to worry about 10,000ths of an inch, but I just see people that with their powder and everything. Oh, that's close enough. You know what I mean? I'm kind of like, well, just gives me the cringe, but I'm really interested in those gauges and what you can do with them. And like I said, do quality control. That's part of me also. So yeah, I'm really interested in those. Just like I said, because I'm mainly always shopping RCBS. I'm just now like buying up on some Lee stuff. I've just never checked over into the Redding stuff at all, and I'm starting to see more and more of it, and hearing some things about them. And yeah, I'm definitely going to go check those out. I'm more than willing to invest in those. I like that setup.
I went over this setup here one time with a GGW here a few months ago. I actually went in there and, you know, sized the brass down and did a few things. And I have a video on my channel about 9 minutes long, maybe 8. It'll kind of show a little bit of how this functions, the competition shareholders. So
okay, cool.
It's not a long one because I don't like making long videos because it's boring. So.
Hey, Jason, how long have you been reloading for, brother?
Man, I just started getting stuff
pandemic
a little over a year ago. Yeah, when that started, and just buying stuff every single week. I still buy stuff every single week, but I've just been loaded up some pistol, and I could go to town if I wanted to, but I'm still working up my own load. Just haven't had much time. I got a new chronograph. Had time to use it, but I'm right in the ballpark. I've made a few hundred rounds just playing with them, shooting dummy rounds, checking everything. I have all my equipment. I have the passion, have the time. I have the powder. I have the projectiles. But you know what I'm missing the most of?
Yeah.
You said dummy round. I was trying to find my dummy round, but I got one here somewhere. I'll have to look for it.
All this free. Hey, I'm just telling you.
It really is.
I'm just telling you right now, this free advertising promo for Dummy Rounds channel, I want to like a Whopper ticket or something, but no, that guy's a good guy. If you guys get a chance, get out there and check out Dummy Round's channel.
Yeah. Since I started reloading, like I'd wanted to do it like everybody else. I'd wanted to do it for a few years. Like I said, I'm a former gearhead, engine builder, machinist. You know, so this, and I'm just not to brag, I'm just like a natural gun guy, anyways. You know what I mean? You just naturally everything comes to you and everything. This was right up my alley, and I'd wanted to do it for a few years. And I'd never really even watched any reloading on YouTube or anything. I just know I wanted to do some reloading. And I just started eyeballing the equipment. You know what I mean? Now and then. And like a lot of people, once, you know, COVID hit, I'm like, started seeing not just, you know, reloading stuff, but guns go off the shelves, stuff you want to buy off the shelves, you know, from toilet paper to milk to, you know, I'm a carpenter right now, but even my tools and saw equipment, I had periods where out of stock everywhere. So everybody started giving me the info. So I started getting all the reloading stuff I needed. Just like I said, every single week I'd get something, you know, just all the time. So I've been really on top of what's in stock, what's not in stock, almost like daily for a year. So I'm very fortunate for the equipment that I have. Still looking forward to buying a lot of equipment, but yeah, I'm just kind of still learning, getting into it, but I've learned a lot, and I'm real thankful for everybody that I've learned from. But I've just enjoyed every minute of it. Just, you know, I've simple brass prep, you know, I've got plenty of brass, you know, I got plenty of brass, and I got plenty that's clean sized, ready to go. Small things like that, brass prep, you know, I love every single process. So I'm on a single stage, and I've just loved it. Last week I got the Lee turret, classic turret 4-hole press. Haven't produced anything on it yet, but I'm just trying to set it up. I got the inline fab mounts. I got the UFO lights in. I got a few die sets. So I'm getting there. I got a bench to put together for it. But I keep moving along, man. I've got plenty of dedication to it. I own a lot of firearms. I won't say how many, but I'm covered. So this is kind of something I've kind of hit a gun rut over the last year or so. You know what I mean? There's nothing new that appeals to me. There's nothing I don't have. There's nothing I don't want. I've been in the stage of buying multiples for years. So like moving on to reloading and letting me do some more things with the guns I already own is just like my natural progression here. You know what I mean? So, and I'm not done. I want to do casting too. But I know casting is a year off for me right now, just till I could collect everything I need and be prepared to do it. But, you know, I'm more than willing to buy already cast loads and do them, you know, for a while once, you know, our powder and our primers come back. But I'm definitely want to get into casting down the road, and I'll just do like I've done reloading. I'll just start getting little things at a time till I can get it and be prepared. And but yeah, I've definitely loved the whole aspect from the very first day I bought my first press. From then on out, man, it's been every single paycheck, every single week, every single day, searching 10 different stores for stuff, you know. But I've enjoyed every minute, because being a car guy, I think you're a car guy, AR.
Yes, man.
You know, the Jegs catalog, the Summit catalog. I grew up on those. I could tell you, even from a teenager to a middle-aged man, you know, before the internet and all this, I knew every single product on every single page because I've seen it 1,000 times. I know the price of every single thing. Even though I'm a Ford guy, I know what's there for a Chevy and the price, and I know what's there for a Dodge. So, you know, just catalogs, products, different company stuff, just constantly always being exposed to that. It's just like right up my alley. So the reloading thing, man, is just one of those things like where you been all my life, you know?
I can tell the way you're talking, Jason, you would love this for quality control. Even if you didn't want to use it to size, you would be, if you had other presses, you'd be quality control checking constantly. And that's what's good about this system. A lot of people don't even know that you can use it just for quality control. You can
Hey,
be running
Jason.
anything, any press.
Also, brother, you seem very excited too. So I'm glad to see the intensity, about it. The best thing is buying equipment, whether you've been doing it for 10 years and you're buying a new press, or if you've been doing it for a year. It's just the feel, it brings back the same feeling when you got into firearms. And because I've only been doing this for about 6 or 7 years, and it's an expansion of fire forms. Yeah.
Very habit forming. That's why you got to be careful, because if you're not careful, you'll be buying everything. I mean,
I'm good with buying everything. So I tell people all the time what little bit of, brand new reloaders we get into. I got garages full of toolboxes and tool chests. Wow. Everybody does. You started out with a wrench set and a socket set, and now you got a whole garage full. It didn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
But you never really complain. Like if you go out and open your tools right now, the original price that you paid for that wrench doesn't ever even cross your mind. So, I look at reloading equipment the same way. And a lot of it I've thrown in, I could care less what it costs, whatever. At this point, and, part to continue, everything's an education to me. I don't want a free education. I'm more than willing to invest time and money in an education. So I have no regrets. I know a lot of people I see starting out the new reloaders, they got the calculator going. How many bullets do I got to make to get my money back? Or how much am I going to have into each round? Well, that's fine. That's great. But I don't equate that or have any of that in my
That's not
at all.
That's not what's important to Jay. He sees it as learning a new skill. Now, Jay, I want to tell you, you need to subscribe over here to Eagle over here.
Yeah, I got it. I got it.
Yeah. He's a young man. He's doing his reloading career from the start to finish, and finding product in between, and helping other new reloaders that are just getting started kind of get a foothold. It's a lot to digest at first. It can be a little overloading, and him taking it from the same point as a new person would is really refreshing to me. That's why I like to get new reloaders, people just getting into it, onto the show, because you really need new life in a hobby, especially in reloading and in firearms, because if you don't show the new guys that are wanting to do it, then pretty soon there are no new guys doing it.
Yeah. We don't want this to go away. I'm actually teaching my 8-year-old great grandson. He dumped powder yesterday for 223-556, and he sat there and I said, "Put your fingers on there and tap the thing, and take the powder out of the scale." And he did a good job. And he, what he said, he told my daughter, he says, "Papow," he calls me Papow like a gun. He said, "Papow got me in here so I wouldn't fight with my sister." I said, "No, I didn't. I got you here because I want to teach you how to make a cartridge." So I said, "So pretty soon you're going to make an entire cartridge, and we'll put it in a gun, and I'll bring it over and we'll let you shoot it." So he seems excited about it. And I'll go over what I got on here if you want me to. You guys, I haven't been reading the chat yet, unfortunately, when I got into that. But what I got on there is this, the instant indicator. I got a full-length 223 rating die that I use to size. I got a 9mm rating steel die set. It also got an upgrade, comes with a sizer, seater, and expander. I've got an upgraded titanium coated rating expander for 9mm. And then I got over here next to it, I got the Forester 223 micro cedar die, which they're great. They're more like $90. At least they used to be. And I got also a 223 factory crimp die for Lee. I think they're great. A lot of people don't like to call it the way it is and squeezing it. They want a taper. I don't like taper that much, in my opinion. Maybe for 9mm, yeah, it's okay. But I like doing the factory crimp die. I can actually see how much I got it crimped. I can actually feel it. too. You can't see
Yeah.
that with a paper.
I've
Well,
been
you can, but
I've been doing my best to get a leaf factory crimp die for every caliber I own. I just got a 45 ACP one ordered the other day. That one's been hard to get, and I'm trying this week. I know where they're at, but I'm waiting for Midway. I'm going to get a 4-die set. See, I don't mind. I have multiple sets for the same caliber.
oh wow.
I don't know. I started out kind of making the cardinal sin. I didn't want to be locked into one brand. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Mhm.
It's easy to get
Yeah.
that way. It's very easy to get locked into one brand or buy
Definitely.
mostly one brand. But for the dies and stuff, I'm starting to branch out, and I want multiple sets and different things. My only trouble that I had any doubt about any of it I started reloading was my crimp. Right? Wasn't hard to find out what too much crimp was. You're bending you're crinkling your case, So
Yeah.
I got some advice from reloaders on just how to check. I basically set my crimp up now. I push on the bolt a little bit against my desk, against the bench, against the wood, and measure it.
Yeah.
It moved a little bit. Okay, so I just give it
Yeah.
just a little more touch, and that's how I've done it. So I got a little wall of shame and stuff. I tried seating and crimping at the same time, which did work. But then I was still like, man, maybe it needs more crimp, and then you go too much crimp, and then you're in trouble again. So I really like the Lee crimp dies.
Yeah.
I've tried to get those, but it's one of them things, out of stock, back order, So I've been doing my best to get one of those for everything I got, even though I'm not reloading it yet, just to have it. But I'm going to branch out into Redding. I'm going to do some more checking into Redding's equipment and see what's going on.
Yeah, you do it the old school method. I mentioned that in we had a stream with Echo, me, and Eagle. I mentioned about pushing a bullet against a bench. So you're developing a feel, basically in a sense, a sense there where that how much crimp I got just by doing that technique, and that's a good thing because you're not measuring, going, oh, okay. You'll eventually actually know almost where to put that crimp after a while.
Yeah, well, I tried. I got mics. And I got calipers, and I tried measuring the flare to the crimp to, the bullet. Pretty much when I'm only flared them a little bit, not too much, just enough. Just seating the bullet in it, it'll fit a case gauge. Without a crimp on it, So measuring it and any of that wasn't giving me any results. Like trying to come up with 1,000 crimp or 2,000, that wasn't giving me any results at all. What turned out working that I so far gave me confidence was pushing on it on the table and then crimping it, measuring it, and surprisingly, doesn't take very much crimp. Not very much. Just a slight touch and feel in there. So I'm dealing with 40. I'm dealing with 45 ACP.
Cool.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's how I set mine up. Now since that obstacle, I'm good to go.
Yeah, you're more because you're a gearhead, and like I am, you're learning from feel, and that's a good thing. Feel is very important in this reloading. It's to me. I'm not much. I set my dies up sometimes, Jay. I don't even do I can do an eighth of a turn, then another eighth of a turn, and it's about right. Sometimes a quarter, but usually about 2/8. It depends on what your eighth is. Oh, and my eighth is. We all have a little bit different idea of what they think eighth is, and I can do it both ways. So I just basically do it by cam over feel. Okay, there it is, because I remember it, by feel. So I set all my dies up. They basically feel the same. You go to each one, you can tell it. So I want to throw that in about the feel part because I was talking about that the other day in the stream.
Yeah. Someday I'm sure I'll have a Dylan. And of course, they're great to look at and everybody drool over them and everything. But I can't afford to feed. Well, not that I can't afford it, but I don't have the stuff to feed a Dylan.
Right.
You know what I mean? Maybe when times change and I got shelves full of primers and everything. A Dylan would be great then. But for now, I really enjoy the single stage. I don't want to cheat or speed up any process of it. The little Lee classic cast, man, that seems like super automated to me. That indexing
Mhm.
turret, that's fine. This is going to be a lot of enjoyment to use. I'm only going to, so far, I'm just probably going to do 9mm on it. It seems like it's going to be a nice little press, very simple, easy to use. So, I really don't need the great progressive thing all at once, or the Dillons right now.
I've got it, but I don't use it often. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah,
Sometimes I use it for primers because I don't have a primer right now. I only got press over here, so I go over and put it on there and I'll prime some. Actually, I got some primers in there now, and but I don't use it that often. I don't probably have enough to justify having it there really.
yeah.
But I like it.
The leak turret that I got it set up. I'm going to feed it with a already sized and primed case. So, you know what I mean? It's just going to be a very simple, sweet, easy moving little press right there, man. I'm not messing with the lead primer system or sizing it or anything. I think it's going to be very enjoyable, man. I got the inline mount for it. That's pretty nice. And I got the UFO light. I didn't get the dimmer switch though, and it's pretty bright. So I don't know if I'm going to go with that or what. I got to get the bench together and get it mounted and see how tall it actually is and see how bad that light bothers me. But I heard you guys recommend those, and I'd heard about those for a while. And yeah, those do seem good quality. They seem thinner than other brands, and they're extremely bright. Hell, they'll light up a room in the dark like a flashlight. They're so bright.
Yes, they will.
So I'm happy with all that. Yeah, I got a set of lights for this Lee turret, and I got the light for my rock chucker. So
hey, Eagle, what you up to?
But yeah, I appreciate everybody that does these reload chats, and I've learned a ton from people in the chats. Met a lot of good people reload. Haven't met a bad reloader yet. That's a bad person or an attitude that you just can't get along with. I haven't yet. I have in the gun world, lots of them, but in the reloading, community, I've just met the nicest, best people, man, and I appreciate y'all.
We appreciate
Thanks,
you.
Jason. We appreciate you, brother.
Yep, definitely do. And yeah, I want me a Lee turret. I thought I had enough presses. I got 1, 2, 4. And I said, I got to think, well, I'm going to do a
He
Lee.
started seeing the ammunition I started turning out of those, and he's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, so I like the idea of getting those little $12, $13 heads and setting it up and just sticking them away and then, pop them in there when I want to and do it.
That's what kind of got it for me. Well, I won't mention his name, but we all got a common friend, and he's got one of these presses, and he needed one of those turrets bad, or he was going to have to take apart one of his already turrets to use it for a new caliber. And they're like everything else, they're sold out. Well, I went and kept my eye on them, and they came back at Midway, and they're like, yeah, like $12, $15. And I was like, is this what fits your press? Right? He's like, yeah, man. He goes, I hope to get one sooner or later. And I just ordered it. You got it. It's already coming to your address. I put your address in. You got it. Right. So I kept my eye on them, and they'd been sold out. And when they came back in stock, I was like, and it was just a week or two ago. And they put it on sale at Midway, like $135. So like I instantly, give me that press, give me some dies, give me some extra turret heads, and I'd worked pretty hard that week, and I figured, I enjoy a little something for myself. So, I've been happy with my RCBS, but I wanted to just to go a different direction. And nobody told me anything bad about this Elite press. Everybody said I'd love it. And so far, I do.
I've seen a bad, occasionally over the years here, I've been watching YouTube. I can't even remember since it first started. And I've seen a few bad reviews of the turret. And typically it was always a guy that didn't know how to handle it or didn't know what he was doing with it. And he'd just get it frustrated and go, oh, it's a piece of junk. It's a piece of junk. And I go, nope, you don't know what he's doing. And then I seen another one time. Actually, I won't get into that too much, but I seen a guy doing this a few years ago. He called them crap, but they work. That's what's weird. I don't know if he got bad ones, but they approach these kind of strange sometimes, especially new reloaders. They'll get these, and I think they're not quite advanced enough to understand them, and they'll start measuring them. They'll get kind of carried away and OCD and freaking out over them. But if you'll read the directions on a competition shell holder and follow it, typically it will work. If it don't, you call Red and get settled, and they'll send you another one, or they'll, you send it in, they'll measure it, and they'll know if it's good or bad. Only they will know if it's good or bad, though. We don't, because we don't the manufacturers of this product. So, and it's a good product, and it does work just as described. I don't want to do bad reviews, but I'll do honest reviews if I do anything. But I don't typically do reviews overall, not at least not at this point. So if I did, I would be still straight. Something that's got a flaw in it, I would call it out, I think. Which that's not too good for me. I know that.
Do you have videos on your channel?
Yeah, I have a few. My channel actually went down.
Okay.
And, I lost a lot of videos. I got only a few up, actually, probably 12, 13. And I only got a couple of good ones. Got my great grandson on there sizing for a few minutes. I got my dog run catching a ball when he was alive. And I got the video on this if you want to watch it. The competition. I think I explained. It's not edited, so I do have a few gaps. So it's the YouTube curse.
I'm gonna go watch that. To be honest with you, I saw it came up a couple of weeks ago, and I don't know. I didn't click on it yet. I was kind of like, what's the difference in their shell holder? Shell holder's a shell holder, So now I'm gonna go back and watch that, man.
They control shoulder bump really well. Now, sometimes you'll get it right where you want it. You sometimes may not get it exactly where you want it, but they do work. And you should just start out. I typically go to number 6 in this box, +6. It's got, next I'll let you know, it's got 5 shell holders, +10. I put my glasses on. Let's see, +8, 6, 4, and 2, I think. Just from memory. That's from memory. I'm sure that's right. So it's a pretty good system.
So I'm not in the machining. I'm not from a machining background, and I find it a little bit frustrating that whenever you need a shell holder size, it's not 223. It's number 20. That's a little frustrating on my end.
Yeah.
Everything's everything. Every company has a chart for their products, their shell holders, their shell plates, and the numbers can be different from company to company.
Yeah, that would have been really nice had they all got together and said, hey, you know what? Instead of us all using different numbers for our shell holders, why don't we make it easy on the customer and we all make them the same numbers? So it doesn't matter if you're buying RCBS Redding or Lee or Lyman, or, you get the shell holder. Number 4 is for 223. Number 1, I think, is 30-06, but I think in Lee it's number 2. But it is kind of crazy, and it just not confuses.
Even in, chronological by size order.
I don't know. I think maybe some companies numbered them by the as they invented it, sort of. Maybe it seems like, you know what I mean? Like if the very first die set they made was like 357 Magnum, then like 38 357 shell holders like number 1. I guess I don't know how they come up with their numbers, but they're different from company.
Well, some industries have been able to get their crap together and have some standardization.
Yeah, like a standard.
We have caliber, and we got millimeter and caliber and gauge and all sorts of stuff from all different worlds.
Yeah, if you start out in mechanics, I started out working on cars when I was like 15 years old. I've rebuilt motors in my day completely. And you kind of typically use the word feel because you know how you can't see something sometimes. You know what I'm talking about, Jay. You'll turn it maybe your wrist tight. So most of the time, in my old school way, I've always called it feel. And there's feel in the reloading too. You just sense. I used to work at a food manufacturing plant, and I'd walk by the machine. It had a bunch of rollers, and it would take dough. And I used to walk by there, and occasionally I'd be talking to somebody, and I'd stick my fingers in there, and I wouldn't look at it. And they go, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm feeling see if the flour or the dough is too thin or too thick." they go, "You can do that?" I said, "Yeah, I just touch it with 2 fingers." And I wouldn't even be looking at it. I never did. Usually I just go, "Okay," and I walk off. And I said, so you develop a feel for the things like that with cars, presses, especially if you're from a mechanical background. Definitely, you do.
Ain't no
But
one
typically,
replacing AR guns with a robot.
Hey, they called him the Doughboy.
who's that?
They called you Doughboy, like
No
from
one's-
Friday.
Who? Me?
Yeah, the Doughboy, because you were able to fill the dough with your fingertips.
Oh yeah. Doughboy. Yeah, that's a good
Well,
channel. Right?
you know, Eagle. I watched a couple of your videos you put out here the last couple of days, and you were just sitting there a minute ago, man. I just got to bring up. I think you already know, but man, you need a primer flip tray, man. I mean, you seriously need to get a primer flip tray.
There's one. They're in. There's one in my Midway cart, and it's like $1.73. And I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to order more powder or see if there's going to be primers available tomorrow. So I have a bunch of things in my Midway cart, and there's a $2 RCBS one that's in there. It'll be coming here soon. You know, flipping them over with your finger, obviously I'm not doing high quantity right now, but it wasn't so bad. I mean, I was sitting here listening to you guys and flipping them over primer.
I know I drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, that'll be a big upgrade.
I like Dylan's primer. Why? It's heavy, it's solid, and but of course bioplastic is cheaper. But this is a nice primer tray. I really like it, and it works. So you might like this.
They were out of
Jay.
stock when I ordered from Dylan.
Blow it up, Echo. So get a closer look at it. You might can. Can you blow it up? Hey, wake up! Thanks. Hey, not me, not you. It's just a Dylan tray. You have your upper, your lower, and it's pretty heavy too. And it locks in. It's just not plastic. I like metal better, but so
That's not bad. What was it?
I would prefer a metal
$25 or something.
Is that aluminum?
Yeah, something like aluminum. Actually, it's more like
or tin.
It may be. It looks almost like an alloy. It probably is aluminum, or not.
It's Chinese.
It's not aluminum because it's heavy. It's not as light as aluminum, so it's more of a steel. So
is it magnetic?
I wish here. Hang on, I'll weigh the thing.
Is it magnetic?
No. Hang on a minute. We'll zero it out and see what the thing. Actually, that'll be grains on it, but still, maybe damage my press. Yep. I'll have to weigh it on a postal scale, but I'll weigh it one evening for y'all. Let you know what it weighs. But it's heavy. Take my word for it. I can lock it back down now. There we go. I don't know why I was thinking you can't really do grains on there. It went, phew, the whole entire gauge disappeared.
Yeah, it's over its max.
Absolutely.
Well,
appreciate you all dropping by.
I didn't mean to get off your subject, man, but I appreciate all your explanation on those Redding dies, man.
No problem.
Like I said, if they are listening, he just sold me a set. So I'd seen that, man, and I wanted to ask a couple of times, what is that dial indicator? And then you just touched on it the other night, right at the closing of a show. And I'd actually been thinking about it a couple of days. So I appreciate you filling me in on that, man. I really do.
Yeah, no problem, man. I don't mind.
Yeah, those instant indicators are super nice.
Yeah, they are. I have that. I have the Hornady, which you probably remember from the show. I have check weights. It took me a while to get all this equipment, though, because I'm retired, too. And I don't have money, just disposable income everywhere. So I had to buy a little this, a little that. I finally got there. And I still want a few things, more toys. But
I was going to say, you're not done. You still got something you want.
Yeah, I want a BLEs. I want a turret press, Lee turret. I want a 9mm die set by Lee. I'm sold on them now. I'm not going to buy. I probably won't buy many more Reddings. Just a few, maybe. It depends on the caliber if I get into it.
So, Jay, I was listening to you earlier. You were talking about don't add up how you don't care how much something costs or whatever. And I think Echo said that to me, too, because I left a comment. The last video I did was I just added up how much I got in this. And I'm a small business owner, and I've been a businessman since I was 6 or 7 or 8 or whatever. And how much it costs for me is a form of analytics that that I really enjoy, because I do, like, I think about every single thing and cost per use. Like, well, a mattress, there's a $8,000 mattress and a, $800 mattress. It's like, well, on a cost per use basis, you're going to use that thing for 8 hours a day, so the cost per use is valuable there. Whereas,
Oh yeah.
a $300 flashlight that you're going to use, maybe 3 times a year, the cost per use on that is ridiculous.
I got a big one.
So
Yeah.
I think about things and how much they cost.
Oh, I do too.
We all do.
I just want to say, before I got into reloading, I had done that many times myself. I had looked at the cost of projectiles, the primers, the powder, and looking at, like 3 cents a piece for, everything, and added it up, and, the bullet's going to cost me, 12 cents, 50 cents. I had looked at all that before. I understand that, that's, everybody's going to do that. But what changed me was the current conditions that we're in. Before, I would blow through ammo, like, not to brag and everybody shoots what they want or whatever, but I typically were going through 700, 800 rounds on a range day fast. 2 hours, 2.5 hours. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
What did I care? I had bullets at home. My local store I drive past every day has got shelves full of it. You know what I mean? I had no thought of not having a lot of ammo to shoot, or slowing down, or taking my time, or anything. I just, you know what I mean? You buy a 12-pack of beer, you drink the whole 12-pack. You know what I mean? You buy a 6-pack, you drink the whole 6-pack. But I just had no thought of it. But I understand before COVID, the price and all that was like, yeah, can I save money? How much is going to cost? But once COVID hit, now you have to factor in availability, which we don't have.
Yeah.
And from what I'd learned and hearing from the past, when I wasn't really involved in firearms and the ammunition shortages and stuff, I'm not going to be caught with my pants down 5 years from now, 10 years from now. You know what I mean? Like we're caught right now. So, and I'd want to do reloading anyways. And the other part of reloading that I'm really liking, that makes me throw the cost out of the way, is now I look at ammunition on the shelf and I just feel like I can't buy as good as accurate ammunition as I can make.
That's
I
true.
just feel that way. So I look at store ammo from a factory. I'm looking at it for its brass. I would rather go out and just dump it, play with that factory ammo. I want that brass. I could care less about that factory loaded projectile. That doesn't mean a thing to me. I want that brass, and I'm going to use that brass till that brass is no good no more. That's what I look at. And I just feel like I could build a load with a bullet of my choice, and find a powder of my choice, and a load data of my choice, and I can make my gun shoot better than anything from the factory. Because I'm the one benefit, I'm a good shot. I can fall into where, like, closely my capabilities of the gun and me are pretty much matched. I can shoot a bad gun and it's the gun, not me. Or I can shoot my guns, it's a good gun, and they'll do what I want long as I do my part of it. I don't have anything holding me back as the quality or the accuracy of the gun. So I want that same kind of ammo. I can see a difference in factory ammo. I've done a lot of testing, not a whole lot, but a little bit. So I'm wanting to build something better than the best of what I'm going and getting. And I'm not talking about the best. I'm talking, look at your choices. I'm talking, some Remington ammo, some Winchester ammo, some American Eagle, some plain stuff. They'll all perform pretty close. Maybe one's just a little bit bigger group, but I just want better than that. And I think I can do better than that.
You can.
So that's just why I got into reloading and don't care about the price anymore. I just really don't. The availability of it is the number one factor. 2019's gone. 2019 prices are gone. They're not coming back. So that's just how, when I say don't look at the price, I understand some people have to. I'm not talking about spending $1 million, but spending a little more I really don't have a problem. I don't have any regrets is what I'm trying to get at. I don't have any regrets for any money that I spent on reloading, even for tools that didn't meet a very good quality, or maybe I'll never use it. There might be one day I use it. So it's just like the wrenches in my toolbox outside, and my, your special little sockets and tools. The time you need to use it, man, you're glad you have it, and you don't ever have any regrets. Like, man, I gave $19.99 for that at Sears, and Harbor Freight's got one for $7. Man, I feel like a fool. You just don't really end up with that feeling.
Or a Mercedes-Benz 190E 1988 AC wrench. It only worked on that car's AC high hose, but if you didn't have it, it was a 4-hour job because you had to take half the damn engine apart to get to the hose. This wrench that they made, it was like $179, but it made that job 42 minutes and you were done. And
what's up, Pat?
Oh, Wes Covina's here.
Yeah, I just thought I'd pop on for a second because some of you guys were asking a while back. Let me post this again. There's same scale as Uncle Jim has, except it's a 200 gram instead of 100 gram, just as accurate on the sensor. And, it's got a couple warts, but decent scale.
How much was it on eBay?
It's on eBay for $124.95 or best offer. It needs a wall wart, a 12-volt wall wart, and it needs the pan probably needs put together right because it's got an L error, and that means that the sensor's reading too light on the pan. Other than that, same scale. And one of you guys ought to offer him $75 to see what happens.
Yeah, I think I will.
Would we have to repair it? Pat, you know more about that than I do on scale.
No, the error that it's showing is an L, and that means that there's not enough weight on the pan to start with, and that means the guy either put it together wrong. You saw Uncle Jim dicking around with all the 15 pieces of the pan.
Yes,
that's probably not put together right, or it may have a missing piece. But you can get around that with you just preload it a little bit. Other than that, it looks fine. And, hey, it's price is right. And I just thought I'd say, I told you guys if I found one, I'd let you guys know.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Appreciate it very much.
Yeah, eventually I want one in time. I'll let those digits drive me mad.
I'm gonna make an offer on it.
I mean, it's just a number to me.
Hey Pat, can you send me a link to that?
I put it in the side chat. So just
perfect.
Just look up, go on eBay and look up Sartorius BA210S.
210S.
Yeah, we can all make an offer on it.
Nah, one at a time. One of you guys decide who's going to get it, and it'll be fine. And I think you could probably part it out for more than that. But anyway, yeah. So anyway, I got to head back to work, and thought I'd let one of you guys know. Go get that one. It just posted on there, and it's all right.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah, a lot.
All right.
Thanks for coming on.
Talk to you guys later.
Take it easy, Pat.
Good evening. Hey, Eagle, let me ask you, what are you using for a scale?
I've got the old Frankfurt Arsenal. This is the Platinum.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Is it on screen there? There we go.
Oh, okay.
$75. Got it on Amazon. If you order it from the company, it was like $120. A couple other people had it, but Amazon was the best deal, so I grabbed it. It's been really good. I did a full video on it where we weighed, tested all sorts of stuff.
Hold on for just a sec.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, Chico, what's up?
We can plug her.
James Pollard, M. Gabriel, welcome
plug
to the
her
chat.
in here real quick.
Uncle John, Lakeview Outdoors, good to see you. MCK. I can actually even his old man read way over there on his monitor. That's a good thing. G Webb's here. Good to see you. See who else has dropped in here. Of course, West Covina Dodge. He just left. Vanessa Kitty. Who else is new here? G23, we called you earlier, but glad you're still with us. CW Longshot, can't miss him.
Oh, hi, CW.
Hey. Oh, Senior Master Sergeant Bulldog. Hey, buddy. I'm glad your house didn't get damaged. I was talking to Echo about it earlier.
Yeah, I'm glad that he everyone, Senior Master Sergeant Bulldog, survived the Cat 3 cane that came completely across the top of his house. He said that when he got back to his house, or went outside his house, I should say, because he rode the storm out. He said that the telephone poles were sheared off like matchsticks, and they were laying with their transformers.
Oh my God!
Like all up and down his street, like laying in the side of the people's driveways and stuff. Like, I mean, it went through. Yeah, it looked like a war zone. He said, looked like a combat zone.
Yeah, we're glad you're okay.
Oh yes, definitely.
He says bandwidth is.
Can you see my screen, Jay?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, blow it up, Echo. Eagle. So we can see that thing a little closer. Hey, wake up. Knock, knock. Thank you. Appreciate
so
it.
I guess the drift is the only concern with this. I haven't noticed it
you got air
under
conditioning
20 or 30.
How much does it drift, Eagle?
A lot now.
A candid camera moment. YouTube curse just got him.
What in the
boy?
It's them shelves above you. They'll get you.
A Leupold scope. Yeah, this Leupold scope just crashed.
Oh boy.
Oh my gosh. This thing just come flying down.
That's okay. They got a good warranty, brother.
Air conditioning.
Don't worry about it. A Leupold's got warranty. If you damaged it, you send it back. They'll fix it for free.
Mine was wandering the other day, but it was the AC overhead causing it. And once that went off, I had no issues. Sometimes that'll cause it a little air.
Okay, so
air coming. It doesn't have to be blowing on the scale.
No,
these scales will actually read barometric pressure changes. I have been using my Lyman scale before, and it was perfectly sunny outside, and all of a sudden, the sky starts turning gray, and I hear the rumble of thunder. And I look over and I'm -0.3, and it does it every single time because the barometric pressure drops when a storm moves in because it's a low pressure. Well, when you get it's a load sensor that reads pressure. So it will adjust itself to it.
Rich White, his house is haunted.
Well, I've really enjoyed it. And I'm doing, 5.0, 5.1, 5.2 on 9mm cartridges. And so I haven't been up in any higher, 30, 40 grain loads. So I haven't noticed it. But so far, so good. You might see a little bit of a variation, but between the powder measure on my press and the scale, I should be 0.1, I would think. So
let me tell you all a story of what I've experienced with these scales. You all want to hear the story? I got a RCBS 1500. When I first bought it, I had it set up right on the bench. Well, I'm sitting there and I'm opening and closing the door, and it's all of a sudden the scale starts wandering, just like a magic ghost. And I sit there and I said, "Oh, I know what it needs. It's got static." So I went and got the sheet, wiped it down, put it back. No more movement. Every time I opened the little cover, the dust cover, just open it just a hair, maybe an inch, it'd go start wandering. All it was static was coming off the plastic going down to the load sensor to the plate there. So I wipe my scales down with either static spray or dryer sheets, which most people do. And that'll also stop some of your issues. Wipe your pan out too with it sometimes. Believe it or not, static will make that needle move.
One thing that so I've never had a scale like this. I mean, my wife has one in the kitchen, but I've never like been where I can play with it. This is supposed to be 1 ounce of silver, and I got 1.1.
That's probably about
So
right.
that bar's fat,
Well, point one.
which I've never have.
That's about right. It's an ounce. It's only a tenth off, right? So that
Yeah.
scale only weighs that to a tenth accuracy. It's not that.
Yeah,
Not a
that's
lab
right.
scale. Yeah, it's not lab scale grade. In other words.
So yeah, that's reading
So this
correct.
one is half.
Yeah, that's probably is correct.
This one's half, and see, it's fat. It's fat too.
Now, the other thing I was going to tell you was if
you
you
realize that scale only measures to the tenth of a grain, not 2 or 3 zeros extra. So you'd have to get another scale to actually weigh that stuff properly. If you really was into gold and silver, you can't really go by that scale because it's only guaranteed a tenth of a grain accuracy, which is good, but depends on what.
But here's the other thing you got to be thinking about when you set your scale up. Like, okay, what you think you're setting it on may not be a flat surface. And these scales, absolutely, any digital scale has to be level. I don't care what anybody tells you. If you read any scale manual, the first couple of things are after do not use it around water. It is make sure it's level. And there's a reason for it. A level scale doesn't cause the gravity to pull on the load sensor unbalanced.
So you're actually measuring with a scale that's not designed to measure that stuff right there.
Yeah, I would say, I went and bought a, just like your little 6-inch level. I went and bought one of those for when I'm using my scale, just to double check on my bench top and everything. And then I bought a 2-3 inch round little bubble level. And I'll use that too, because my electronic scale and of course my mechanical scale, they don't have a built-in level bubble in them. So I just went and bought those for a few bucks at the store, and I keep my scales level. But I turn mine on and I let mine warm up a good long time. They say a half hour. I believe my directions say like 20 minutes or something, but I'll just turn mine on and leave it on maybe an hour or something before I even start. And I've never really had any problem, but I have a cheap set of scales, battery operated, only like $35, and they wander. They wander. That's what got me. I went and bought the RCBS electric scale too, and I've never had a single problem with it. And I'll check it against a beam scale, and just fine, just perfect. Goes through all my scale weights just fine. And except for I have 4 different 20-gram check weights that weigh 20.5, and they weigh 20.5 on every scale you put them on, so it's the scale weight. But all the other, everything else, any combination, anything of them, all come out just fine, man, just perfect. But I learned I just won't invest or worry about buying a $30 scale anymore. You know what I mean? So
I got an RCBS 1500, and I actually got it disconnected from the thrower, and I can actually warm this up or not warm it up, and it's still dead on every time. This scale just don't give me any problems.
Yeah, I haven't had a single. That's one of the good things I'm glad I got from RCBS. The little battery powered one, that's from them also, but it was like a freebie in a kit, so you can't really expect a whole lot from it. But they're like anything else, those small scales, they're all made by the same people or whoever in China. And I've seen very similar ones that just have a different color plastic on them. I've seen some that work, some that don't. So I just think, no matter how much you spend on your press, I think you should spend the money you have to on scales.
Pat, West Covina Dye says 1.09714 troy ounce, 2 ounce is what that should weigh. So you'd have to have I would say probably a better scale.
Yeah. Yeah, jewelers use a troy scale, right? Yeah.
And also, if you guys, most sheets of wood that they make
Cook me some
desks
food,
out of.
GGW. Appreciate it. Cook. Show us the barbecue.
That
Go
they
ahead.
make tables and things out of. The wood itself isn't square. When you start talking about these type of load cells, you have to have it flat, okay? And it's got to be level. What I recommend everybody do, if you've got a small window shop near your house where they sell glass, you just simply get a piece of glass, go in there and tell the guy, look, I need something to set my scale on. And he'll have a piece of scrap glass. He'll probably cut it and give it to you. If he doesn't give it to you, it'll be like $4 or $5. And glass, when it is cut, it is completely flat. It is a flat. Yeah, it's a flat surface. So you get that small piece of glass, set it down on your tabletop, take your level and level that. Then you've got a true level flat piece of surface that your scale will not wander on. Then you have to worry about also your overhead lighting. Is it fluorescent tubing? If it is, you're going to get wander from that.
Let me address this right quick. Over here where I'm throwing powder tonight, I got a big giant glass that's almost cut octagonal. Go ahead and blur it out here like who is it? The guy, Get Her Done guy. So
Larry the Cable Guy.
Yeah, I actually got a big piece of glass here. It doesn't have sharp edges, nothing. It's sitting on my workbench, and it's level too. And so whenever I put my measure here or I'm doing stuff, you see, I'll have a big giant chunk of glass under here.
Yeah, all Corvette guys have a big chunk of glass somewhere in their house. It's for the
Eagle's already got the glass. He just needs to.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, just put it on a level surface and you're ready to go on that.
So my bench top is level. I shimmed it and everything, but I don't it's plywood. So I mean, I did my best.
Yeah, that'll change. Yeah.
The levelness of plywood changes with humidity. Those individual layers of plywood, they run two different directions. Like they lay one down one direction, the next piece will be a different direction with the grain of the wood. They do that and they bond it together and press it so that it is much stronger that way with directional wood grains going both directions. And the problem is when moisture gets into plywood, it will expand a certain layer of plywood, possibly that got cut with the saw. It will let moisture in through that cut, and it may expand in different areas at different rates, just like brass. So it's never truly, even though it's level, it's never truly going to be that level. And I mean, yes, you could get it close, but the little piece of glass, it usually solves any problems you have.
Mine's like a mirror. I got two 3/4 sheets of birch, and the surface is smooth. You could skate on it. So that I didn't buy cheap plywood. I bought the most expensive I could get, and it's actually smoother than oak. It's just like it's cabinet grade, which is really smooth. Yeah. So it makes
$80 a sheet before the pandemic. Now probably 160.
I paid, I think, for these.
So this bench was my main workbench. This bench was here. I added, of course, the background. I've done some work here, but upgrading the bench top hasn't happened yet. I'm so far I'm so far deep on this right now.
I wouldn't worry about I wouldn't worry about upgrading the bench top. I'm just telling you to go down and buy a $4 piece of glass or a free piece of glass.
Hey, JH, what you up to?
JH 586 is here.
Yep. Chico Wise.
Oh, Chico's here too. Great. Yeah. If you guys get a chance, Chico Wise has a Dillon 650 XL. And he jumped in just like you did, Eagle. he freaking bought a progressive right off the bat. He was like, I'm going into this, balls out. So he bought a 650 XL. So he's got videos. He's a content creator, and he's got videos on his thing. And he's a really good person to check out, especially on progressive presses, because when he started out, he was brand new to reloading too, and he bought a progressive press. So it's kind of cool to watch his videos because he goes over some of the things. What I was telling you I liked about your videos was that it was from a practical point of someone just getting started. So you're going to ask questions that I asked at one time, but 7 or 8 years ago now, 7.5. So I forget about them because I'm so far past it. So that's what makes it really nice when you're engaged with someone that has started and recorded it from the very get-go. That's what I'm getting at. Check his channel out, and JH586.
Okay, I will.
He's got good channel on reloading. He does some stuff of all different calibers.
Check out Georgia Shooting Connection sometime.
I have not spared any of the mistakes.
Okay. I'm sitting here trickling powder, guys.
Can I ask a question about case length?
Oh,
9 millimeter.
Feel free.
Okay, so the Lee book here. I guess this is Sammy here. 1.169 overall length on 9 millimeter. So I have 2 factory loads here, and this one is 1164. So it's short, but the longest. And then I've got 115. Can you see that? 1155. So it's also short. And then when I was reading and making up my load, it was advised to me to go 1145. And so I made up 50 rounds at 1145, and I shot them, and they all worked. Both of the Glock and the Beretta both did fine with them. But now I'm looking at setting up here, and I added my new crimp, got my Lee crimp die set up, and I'm thinking maybe these are too short. But then again, we're just talking barely short.
Let me explain something to you on pistol ammunition. As long as you're not having a feeding issue and you're not showing signs of high pressure, which would be flat primers, extractor marks on the case, ejector marks on the case, you know what to look for high pressure, right? Okay, I didn't know if you did. I just wanted to make sure. All right.
See you, Rich. Good night.
You see you, Rich, brother. Thank you for stopping by, brother.
See you, Rich. Take care.
Yeah.
So basically, you're going to notice something. The plunk test. Okay, long as it passes the plunk test and it passes the firing test where it loads correctly. Okay. Now, if you when you start running into length problems is when you start noticing stovepipes. When you start firing your gun, you fire the first round you put in it, and the next round, the bullet is sticking straight up out the ejection port, and it closes on it like that, and it looks like a stovepipe. That's why they call it that. And the reason being is because the bullet is too short. Bullets are weird in handguns and in rifles, but handguns especially, if you have a handgun round that's a little too short, chances are you're going to start noticing a lot of stovepipes. If you have one that's a little too long, you're going to noticing it diving into the feed ramp and sticking and jamming, not actually loading, it catching that feed ramp at the very base of it and stopping up. Those are little hints that you learn over time of reloading handgun rounds that you kind of get used to. If you're 1/1000ths off or 5/10,000ths off, don't worry about that. As long as the round is functioning in your weapon and you're not getting pressure signs, don't worry about it.
I got a story for
So
you.
should I start?
Go ahead. Go ahead, Eagle.
Well, I was going to ask, should I start working my way with my bullet seeder? Should I start working my way closer to this 1169, being that I'm setting 1140? Like, I know that shoots, but should I start working closer to the 1169 that's the Sammy spec?
You can. It's up to you.
Hold on,
Or
let me
should I-
double check that. How
So
many
I wonder-
how many other books have you checked that against?
I've got two. I only own 2 books, and that's what both of them have.
Okay, what bullet is it? What manufacturer bullet is it?
Well, I'm using Brass Monkey. They're just a lead. I'm using Brass Monkey and Berries. Specifically, that one is a Berries. But they're just competition style plinkers.
See you, Senior March,
lead nose.
Senior Master Sergeant Bulldog. Good to have you here. Hope you stay safe. Yeah, I would work it a little longer because it doesn't hurt. As long as if it'll still shoot, don't worry about putting it to a little longer next. But I'll tell you a story. It's confusing about some of this stuff. I can take factory Hornady 55 grain spear point, soft point, however you want to call it, and I can actually pull it out. And guess what? It'll be quite a bit shorter, really short, compared to what the reloading manuals tell you to do it. So the factory even don't load entirely to a manual, not to a reload manual. They reload in a tolerance wherever they want it. So, and my 55 grain Hornady is absolutely way short compared to my book, even though I'm loading the same bullet here and the same brass. Go figure. But I measured it here months ago. I think Walter Bunning was on here, and I said, well, I'll show you what this reads. And I read it with took a reading on it with the instant indicator. That's how I knew. And it's quite a bit shorter than what they call for in the reloading book. So I wouldn't worry about it. I'd lengthen it some, but it's not complex.
Just about all of the factory ammunition I've ever measured are what you would call short.
Yeah, that's what I'm
there's
getting at.
There's a reason for that. The shorter you make a round overall length, you can get a little bit higher pressure. But what they're doing is, if you notice, most factory ammunition, if you shake it, you feel powder movement inside. So there's still room for it. It's not a compressed charge. It may be a full charge, but you can still feel a little bit of movement in there. They do the same thing with the bullet. They'll set it a little bit deeper than they need to, so that if the throat in the free bore on the rifle or the pistol is tight or short, it will still feed in that weapon system. They make it to feed in every type of weapon across the world. So some rifles will have a short free bore, aka throat, on it, and basically that will cause the bullet to engage the rifling, which can cause a serious pressure spike or a failure to feed. So what they do is they make it a little bit shorter than Sammy, just to make sure. That's all they're doing.
Let me address what you said earlier about Chico. Chico started taking the 650, he says, in the side chat. He started running it single stage till he got used to it and figured it out. And that's also easy to do.
That's a very intelligent thing to do.
I think we all do, really. We may not admit it, but it's a little bit better to do it. Because you kind of get a handle, go to the next die, and then all of a sudden, bam, well, here we go. And,
well, it's hard when you're first starting.
The first 20 rounds.
You're watching
the first 20 rounds. I did one at a time.
And because you're watching that shell plate go up, and instead of one action going on, you have 5. So you're like, how can I, and being a new reloader, you're like, there's just too much crap going on right now for me to be able to look at every process. So by him slowing it down, single stage like that, he was able to learn each function of each stage, plus learn adjustment on it. So that by the time he had a full rack of dies on there, he already knew what each die was doing, where it should be set, to even out the pressure around the shell plate.
Mhm.
So he taught himself a lot. But Chico is a mechanic. So, there is that. He has a mechanical mind, and he's smart where he can look at something and figure out a simple problem for it.
Walter's got a good comment here. 0.1 grain accuracy is not the same as 0.1 ounce accuracy. He's right.
What I didn't even understand what he was saying.
0.1 grain accuracy is
When I
not
was
the
away in
same
my-
as 0.1 ounce accuracy.
Oh, yeah. 0.1 grain is a hell of a lot more accurate than 0.1 ounce.
I'm trying to read your all guys' questions and things here.
What are we getting? Some speedy?
I
No,
just never played with a scale before.
Okay. Yeah. Don't let it freak you out.
No,
What I can tell you is in reloading, some things are going to make you a little bit scared, or I shouldn't say scared, uneasy. Like the first thing I would have to say is shooting the first round you reloaded, how you closed your eyes and hope your head didn't blow up, with a rifle.
Chico's got a question for you, Eagle. He says, how many good primers have you sent down the ski slope yet? That Eagle reloads.
Somebody a little bit ago, when we started talking about your overall length here and what you're trying to do, I'm not sure. Maybe it was M. Gabriel. I'm not sure. Somebody wanted you to explain the plunk test. And I was just about ready to ask you if you had the barrel out of one of your pistols.
Yeah, I've got one right here that I can get the barrel out of.
Let's make it short if we explain it.
Yeah, it's real easy to explain.
Make it short. Don't anyone put a actual firearm on screen, please.
That's a good one, Wildcating1776. UJ
Only
has a
parts.
good video on differences in pistol
Only parts.
barrel throats entitled, I will see you in my chambers. That's a good line, isn't it? That's Uncle Jim. For you.
What is he saying?
He's talking about UJ has a good video on difference in pistol barrel throats entitled, I will see you in my chambers. Mind you, Echo's chambers about his chambers. I thought, where's the leather at in the spiked high heel shoes?
Hey, I wear those only on the weekends, gentlemen.
When I first seen his name change, I actually thought, I said, Chamber? I really was kidding.
No, you're not. He was like, I'm signing up for them. I'm subscribing to this guy. Well, I don't have any fingernails, and my wife isn't. Oh, here we go. I got it. I just had to complain about my wife.
Here, Chico says 1.1. That's true. 1.169 is a little long for 9mm. I agree on that. I just wasn't thinking earlier. He's right. Most people don't load it that long. Is that what the book says?
That's what Lee says.
No.
Yeah, that's extreme.
Well, that's what the Sammy spec is. I'm saying I was told by right here to go 1135, and then somewhere else said 1145. So
some of the books in that Lee book, I'll say 1.2. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't. I would do it shorter than the book says, and that's something that you think the books wouldn't do that all the time, because in some chambers you may not pass the plunk test and it may go into the lands. Oh no!
Okay.
Right.
Plunk.
Echo?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Can you see this?
What's your length? You got some bullets, Echo?
Yeah, I'm showing. Yeah. I'm just trying to see if I'm centered on the camera.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. This is just a Hornady critical what is this? Critical defense 380 automatic. And basically when we do, can you see it?
It's very dark. I can see it.
Hold on. Let me flip on a light.
Okay.
Got better?
Yeah, it's a little bit better. A little dark, but we're okay. Go ahead.
All right, so basically a plump test is where you take the barrel out of whatever pistol you're making ammunition for, and you invert it towards the muzzle towards the ground, and you drop the bullet down into the chamber, and you hear that plunk.
Mm-hmm.
Here, let me get it close to my mic so you guys can hear it.
You turn it, make sure it don't hit the lands,
Yes.
Good.
Then you spin it once you go in there, and you spin the brass, and you see if it makes contact with any of the rifling. If it does, you need to shorten it a little bit until it spins free. And that is a test for each individual barrel. This, you see how sloppy this bullet is sitting in there? It's just moving around. That's because it's at 0 SAMI. And my chamber isn't 0 SAMI. It's plus probably 10 thousandths at least.
JH says, that's why you got to make a dummy round for every bullet you load. I agree with that.
Yes,
it
sir.
Simplifies everything. That way you don't have to look at the book. You can look at the book, of course, but you got your dummy round. You know it's dead on, and just use it to set up, and you're almost close to it. That way you don't have to worry about everything.
Yeah, like AR saying, if you've got a dummy round, you can put it back in the box of bullets and just leave a primer out of it. Don't put a primer in it. And that way you know it's a dummy round. And then when you go to load more of those bullets, you can put this in your shell holder or shell plate, run it up, and set your overall length for your bullet and everything, and have your load information on a little cue card in there.
We should all be doing dummy rounds, in my opinion, but that's my personal opinion. It's because if you get in a hurry and you open the book up and you set it at 1.169, you go to the range, for example, and you happen to pick up a different handgun, say the same caliber, and all of a sudden it don't fire, you done messed your whole day up.
Yeah,
right there.
I just ran through a box of Fiocchi 9mm, and they were all pretty close. They were consistent, but I say they're probably going to average 1.15. They were moving around 1.1 or 1.15, 0.1, 1.15, 0, 1.149, but they were all close. So I'd say 1.15 is what this whole box pretty much came out at.
You got to remember 9mm, it depends on the bullet profile too. So you can't really always go by the overall length. You have to go by sometimes the bullet profile.
Especially if you're shooting lead.
Yeah, because you'll jam into the lands and then your whole day's ruined. You forgot you changed the bullet type. So look out for that, when you're doing it. Always keep that in mind, your bullet profile. And that's why for that bullet profile, you should do a dummy round. Absolutely.
With handguns, with rifles, I feel a little bit more leeway where I can make my round as I go. Like I can seat the primer after I uniform the primer pocket, and I can seat the primer. Then I can load my powder into it, and then I can seat the bullet long, and I can then go back as many times as I want.
Andy, I got around to saying that. He said 3 times the charm. The overall length depends on the bullet you are using. Absolutely. That's why I stated that earlier. But Andy's right. JH says use your load data correct off. It's a reference. If your chamber is too tight for that length, you will adjust your powder and charge accordingly. Absolutely.
Yep. You guys got to remember, these load manuals are a reference and a recommendation. They are not God sent written word. And what I mean by that is,
Gabriel will answer your question.
There's some things in these manuals that you as a reloader are going to have to make little changes to, depending upon the bullet you're using, the barrel you're using to shoot it out of. From manufacturer to manufacturer, bullets change. Even if they're the same grain weight, they may not be set at the same depth.
M. Gabriel has a question. Is he Echo? Is he suggesting that you get stovepipes if you correct overall length is too short or the case is too short?
Not the case. What I'm talking about is if you get stovepipes, one of the causes of a stovepipe most likely is the bullet is too short. So basically what it's doing is it's causing it to sit, the weight of the bullet to sit further towards the back, which means when the bullet goes to go forward into the feed ramp all the powder goes to the head of the case where the primer is, and the bullet starts to go up the ramp, and then it just shoots right into the air, and the slide closes on it. And that is called a stovepipe, and that's because the weight is moved too far rearward of the cartridge, either by length or from the bullet being put too far deep into the cartridge. Extend it a little bit, and you'll notice it as you start rolling it out 10 thousandths at a time. That bullet will start to go into the chamber instead of coming up the ejection port.
Reloader 762 has been reloading a while. He's good at it. He says feed, function, and pump test. You have a channel, don't you, Reloader, on YouTube?
Yeah, he certainly does.
Okay, I heard High Boy say he's been around a while, so
Reloader.
Check him out.
I've known him for 6-7 years almost, maybe a little less.
Check out Andy 79Z28. Check out everybody you see here, the ones especially
we promote channels here because everybody needs a lift as a hand up in this world. Don't ever turn around. This is a copy from High Boy 76 High Boy, but I liked what he said. Don't ever turn around to make fun of someone. Only turn around to help them up, so they can continue going in a progressive way forward. And I'm a big believer in it. And I'm a big believer in 1911s.
Yeah,
even though I got some Tupperware guns.
Yeah, I got a M&P 2.0 flat dark.
You got the 2.0. You got
5-inch barrel, buddy. I'm old school. 5-inch barrel or nothing.
Listen, I got a 5-inch barrel, but listen, I'm younger than you, and I've got the original Performance Center M&P with the ported barrel. I saw it and I was just like, that's a nice gun.
I had the first generation. I had the core competition optic ready equipment M&P, and then I've got the second this one. I've had the standard, what you're talking about, and I've had the core, and then my M&P 2.0. I've sold a few of them off, and the 2.0 to me is the best one they've made so far, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I did like my core, but the core had flaws. A lot of people don't know this. The core had a button that they described on the side there, which at most guns is true. You hit it and it'll let the slide slam forward. Well, M&P changed that because people would sit around sometimes and touch it, and it would trip and go bam and rack around into it when you were holding it. So they don't call it that no more, a slide lock. They call it like a slide release, and you literally have to take your thumb and press on it now to make it do it. It won't do it. You can reach up there and hit it, and it won't put a round into the chamber. So they totally redid the thinking of that item on that gun, which is kind of good. So they did a good job on that. Even when I got it, I said, well, this don't do it. It's not releasing the slide. It's not designed to that easy. You have to really, basically, how you do release the slide? You grab the top slide on the M&P 2.0 and you use your hand and you pull it back and let it go. You don't even touch that slide release. Now, there's an argument out there in the community. I've heard a few of it on YouTube. Oh, that's what that thing is for. You should always use that. Well, Smith & Wesson done away with that.
Yeah, I always consider it a slide stop, lock open. I usually will rack it to get it off of that. But there's times, I'm at the range and doing whatever. I've used it to, close the slide, drop a slide, but with a round getting chambered. You know what I mean? It's not good to sit around and like dry fire and play your gun and drop that slide without a round in there to cushion it a little bit. I generally don't. I don't think it's really going to hurt it if you don't do it regularly, But I look at it more as just maintenance of the gun, protecting the gun. There's no reason to slam it home like that all the time, just playing around. So I just treat it as a stop. I hardly ever drop it, but I have in mag chains, as before. I don't think there's anything
Mhm.
wrong with it. I'm just not a fan of like doing that over and over. I
Right.
kind of like my weapons, and like most of them are 1911s, and
That's why you
I'm
don't.
just not dropping
yeah,
it. Yeah.
yeah. Listen,
Well,
I shot 1911 since 1975. Okay, that was the first handgun my dad gave me in the woods when I was 7 years old.
take you off the blow up. Echo.
Okay, and basically, the 1911's original design by John Moses Browning had hardly any slide stop. There was no bite for your thumb to push on it. The military trained you to shoot single-handed, they didn't have a isosceles or your support grip. They shot single-handed. And I'm not saying that's a good way to shoot, but this is just how they shot. The gun was never intended to, when you fired all 7 rounds out of the original 1911 and it emptied and then the slide locked back, you were supposed to deploy the magazine release button with your thumb, drop the magazine, reinstall a fresh magazine, and never take your hand off of the fire controls and rack the slide back and let it go home free. And you would have the gun pointed at a level, not down at the ground, because those guns were model 70s and did not have a firing pin safety on them and had free floating firing pin and did have the occasional slam fire with those handguns. That's why the 1911s, and that's why you have 2 styles of releasing the slide. Guys that grew up with 1911s don't use slide stops. Most
gun-loving grandpa's got a question.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, Echo.
It's all right, brother. I know.
Yeah, if it runs real late, I have to kind of grab. He says, what powder would you use for 9mm? Power pistol, unique. What else? Silhouette.
Tight group or 231.
Tight. Yeah. A lot of powders work in 9. I like a low flash powder for 9 though. Basically, I'm gonna try to silhouette eventually.
The Winchester 231 is a favorite of Uncle Jim's and a favorite of mine. It works great in 380s and 9mm. I have shot. It's very low flash on it. So that's why I like it in case of like if you're loading some hollow points or something like that, you don't want a real big, ball of fire out the end of your gun. Now the CFE pistol, that presents a little bit more of a fireball and is a little less accurate in my opinion than 231 on the 9mm cartridge. But it functions very well. It causes good function in the gun. It doesn't soot up your barrel. Unique works in just about everything. And it is a great powder, but it's a dirty powder. It's going to get you a little bit of soot. If you're shooting a match, you'll notice a 2-inch black carbon 2 inches back from your muzzle. It'll be just covered in carbon. So bad at some competitions, I had to take denatured alcohol and wipe off my front sight so that I could see the white dot in it.
I like 231 just because I bought a lot of it, but it seems to run real well through my powder measure. It's dead on all the time with it.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me show a few of these.
Where did
There's Bullseye, you guys.
Oh, okay.
It's an all around.
Here, hold on, AR. Let me blow you up, brother.
Okay. Just let you see it. I got that unique a couple of years ago for the pandemic for like $19 a pound.
Yeah, unique is cheap usually. And, it's under $20. It's around $20 a pound, $24.
Power pistol, 1990 something, about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I wish I'd got about 3 or 4 power pistols.
Or those, yeah, that's some good stuff.
But, you can't go wrong with a few of those, and especially low powders like Echo's talking about.
Okay, now the power pistol, that's a good one. And another one you guys probably want to take a look at if you're having trouble finding is that heavy, what is it called, AR? It's called heavy pistol. It's made by that company. They make like match rifle and heavy pistol. They kind of name it's the company. Side chat, help us out.
Oh,
The
company. Shooter's World.
Yes, thank you very much. Shooter's World powder. Yeah. That stuff, if you guys give it a try, if you're shooting a 44 Magnum, 45 Colt, 45 ACP, any of the 200, 180 to 250 grain balls or hollow points, the heavy power, is it power pistol you said? Yeah. No. Yeah, power pistol.
Mm-hmm. I know Natchez Reloading, however you say that. The other day they had Tight Group for $20 a pound. Of course, add in hazmat, $27 a pound. Then
Yeah, in my opinion, if you're buying powder and you're paying $30 or a little bit there over, you're paying decent prices. Those are fair prices.
He's got a question. Chico does. Yeah, it's that you, Eagle Ron. He says, you have 2 channels? Eagle isn't here.
Eagle in the side chat said he went back to having.
Okay. I thought he was here. I was looking
at
reading the chat. Sorry.
Yeah, he dropped out because he couldn't hear.
Yes, and Chico was asking if he had 2 channels. Yes, he does, Chico. He has a channel kind of like a do-it-yourself at home type of shop. He does things, all different types of things. And then he just started the reloading channel because obviously he just started reloading. I hope that helps, brother.
Yeah, I heard him mention on one of his videos. He's not sure what to call himself yet. Basically, he's got Eagle Reloads, Eagle 21, Eagle 23, something like that. He's got a few different names. But yeah,
I think Eagle 123 or something.
Yeah, he mentioned it. He's got a couple different names, couple different channels.
Chico even asked earlier, did he leave? Yeah, he's having problems, right, guys?
Yeah, he's having some internet trouble or computer problems. What we'll do is I'll get him on the email and see if
appreciate that. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead. No, I didn't want to interrupt you.
No, I interrupted you. So go ahead.
We're going to be peeing in each other's hands here in a minute. Come on,
G23 says AR Guns. I put links in 90% of the channel so we can help each other's channel. Yeah, I appreciate it, G23.
Yeah, brother. Yeah, definitely.
He said that earlier. Definitely. I'm scrolling up trying to find.
Yeah. If we get to your question late, it's not because we don't think it's important. It's just because we get a few of them and we're trying to work our way through trying to get participation with the audience worked out as one of our priorities so that you guys feel like you're included in the show. And I think everybody that streams has a little issue with that.
I finally got up there. Sorry, Gabriel. It says, forgive me, but why does a short correct overall link called stovepipes, high pressure? ? Sorry, it took me a while to get up there.
Oh, okay. The reason why, Gabriel, is the fact that, let me grab this piece of brass right here.
We'll always try to answer your questions, but we may get behind sometimes, so bear with us, guys, on this. It's not easy to read and talk and load.
This is a piece of 223 Remington brass because this I had sitting here. And hold on. Here we go. Here's a piece of 357. All right. Here's what happens. You put the bullet in.
Blow yourself up.
Okay.
First, yeah, because we can't hardly see you.
All right, so let me see here. Make sure we got that. Can you see me that?
Yes.
Dark. Okay.
Yeah.
As you move the bullet further back in the case, making the overall case and the cartridge case shorter, you're moving the weight to the tail end head. This is called the head of a cartridge case. It's moving the weight closer to the head. So you're moving the powder back too, which is from the head to the base of the bullet on a full case. And as you continually move that cartridge back, that weight starts to go more and more to the back. You have a primer in the head of the case here. So you start getting the fact that is when the bullet is coming up out of the magazine and is hitting the feed ramp and is starting to go up and into the chamber. Instead of doing that, as soon as it hits that feed ramp, all the weight being towards the back of the cartridge case causes it to flip up, because you got to remember it's shoving from behind. So when it's shoving from behind, it's amplifying that ramp that it hits on the barrel. Because of the weight being further back, it's amplifying that, and the slide continues to come forward, and you can watch what it does. Because I have no bullet in here, so this is super light, and the tail end of the case is heavy. And look what it does. It goes straight up, and bam, the slide closes on it, and it's a stovepipe. That's the only reason why. Nothing to do with a hot load or anything, because you're never even firing the chamber or firing the cartridge. The cartridge is simply coming out of the magazine, and it's going up like this in the front to get into the feed ramp, and then to go up and into the barrel like this. Well, if all the weight's to the tail end of the bullet, it just simply goes straight in the air. And it's stovepipes.
Okay.
Now,
Hope that
if
answers
it's
your questions.
yeah, and if the bullet is left out too long, and the length is too long, but it still fits down in the magazine, it will come forward, and instead of hitting the ramp to the barrel, the feed ramp like this at a slight upward angle, it hits it almost flat and just dives into it, and it won't go anywhere. And then you get a failure to feed, and your slide is locked open, and the bullet ends up getting usually a little setback, and it jams you up like that.
Okay. All right.
And that's what I was trying to get across. I hope I did without driving you nuts.
That was a great explanation, man. Great. Chico's got a good saying here, and I agree. Now I load everything to my tightest chamber, which is a CZ. If you got handguns, load it to your tightest chamber.
Yes, sir. That way it'll work in any of your guns.
Work in any of them, and then you have no problems. That'd be good for Eagle if you got multiple handguns.
Because nothing's worse than to load up 100 or 200, or God forbid you've got a press like ARs, and you do 1,000 rounds to find out that they don't work but in 2 of your pistols, and then you got to go back and mess with them. After you've loaded them up perfect, now you got to go back and to get them longer, you've got to actually seat the bullet a little deeper to get it to break loose that crimp, and then use whatever crimp bullet remover you want to use, a hammer or the inertia removers. And then you got to pound out each of those bullets out a couple thousandths, or however how many thousandths you are off, and do it, and then go through the process of reseating it to the correct depth and recrimping again.
Yeah, appreciate it, Michael. Also, M. Gabriel, what is Eagle Run's 23's reloading channel? That was 9:37, so a minute ago. Pick it up, Echo. Good job, Echo. Michael Hurtnick says.
Pick it up.
Thanks for explanation, M. Gabriel.
Pick it up. Oh, you mean I'm going slow?
No, you're fine.
Oh.
No, I don't know something. Yeah, you're fine.
Maybe you meant blow it up when you were doing the channel thing.
Oh,
when you started out, we could only see half of the cartridge.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna wind this down here shortly, because it's kind of getting be a long show. It's been a good show. I think a constant talking, constant.
Oh yeah. Enjoyed the show. Kit Kat enjoyed the show. She's sitting right here on the floor next to us.
I used to have my chocolate lab used to come in here. The old he's half English. He'd come in here and lay on the floor when I was in the reloading room before he left and he passed away, which is unfortunate.
She likes chasing primers when they don't go down the tube.
But I think you want to wrap it up. Okay?
Yeah, we can wrap it up.
We're just long-winded here for hours, so wanted a good show and get to the point and to the chase stuff. So.
Yeah.
We
You
appreciate
fellas
all
in
you.
the side chat, we really appreciate everyone coming out and hope to see you again real soon. If you guys have any questions or anything, we've got ARguns1776 ARguns1776 at gmail.com. And then basically you can leave me a comment in the section on this video if you need me to get back to you. Other than that, AR, you want to kick us off?
Yeah, appreciate I enjoyed the stream. I definitely like the way it was set up involving you. I appreciate you, Jay, for asking a lot of questions and for talking to us. You want to say something, Jay, before we sign off?
Yeah, man, it was a good show, man. I appreciate getting on. I appreciate what we discussed and what I could learn. Great chat, man. I love all reloading chats, man. But I appreciate what you informed me about the Reading stuff there, because seriously, that'd been on my mind now, like what, 4 days. So I was glad we covered that, man. And I hope somebody else learned something from it. And I like the Eagle guy. Glad he come in, man. I like that, like loading his very first rounds. You know what I mean? And doing what he's doing with, just starting out with the basics, and he's doing it. So I'd love to see that enthusiasm from people.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on, Jay. And as always, AR, you're always a pleasure to have on, sir, and my friend. Everyone in the side chat, once again, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. Jamie, 70 or 67, I'm dyslexic, 67 Rebel. What's up, brother?
We called most of you off early. I could go.
Yeah, go ahead and read everybody else off for the good night going home.
G23, Reloader 762, Andy 79Z28, Senior Master Sergeant Bulldog, good to see you all. Lakeview Outdoors, Chico Wise, Andy, M. Gabriel, Gun Loving Grandpa, good to see you. Michael Hurtnick, he's usually always with us. K24, he's good, he's with us. Lakeview's always here. We appreciate it. James Pollard and Chico, of course. Hang on, got to scroll, guys. Had quite a few comments tonight, a lot of activity. M. Gabriel, let me see. Gun Loving Grandpa, JH, of course, we can't miss Jamie. Georgia Shooting Connection, check him out. It's Friday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern time, the only time zone that matters, as everybody says. And Tim S., good to see you. Who else is in here? Michael, I called out. Well, y'all been busy tonight. Talking of a storm. I'm almost there. Bear with me. Until you scroll. Oh, here we go. 67 Rebel. Good to see you. SSTAMC. I just usually say 67 Rebel. Good to have you. Glad you dropped by. We always enjoy you all. James Pollard, of course, which is right here. It's a good show. I enjoyed it. So you can have a good night all. I hope you had a good Labor Day. And,
thank you very much. And I just wanted to let everybody know this Thursday night, stop by. AR is having his Thursday night stream starting at 8 p.m. on Eastern. I will be on Friday night at 6 p.m. going to 8 p.m. Eastern, followed by the Georgia Shooting Connection at 8 p.m. Eastern, and join Jamie and Kyle and all the guys over there talking guns, shooting, reloading, and just about anything gun related. And if you have any questions on times or whatever.
Crazy Scotsman on Sunday night.
Oh, yes. I did forget. Yeah. On Sunday night, foreign and domestic Crazy Scotsman, check his channel out. If you guys are needing any of these channels, you can't find them, go to my channel's homepage and look at my friends on the front there. You can actually subscribe to their channels right from my homepage of my channel. So check that out, and check out Eagle Reloading and JS here.
Oh, Idaho. Sorry, Idaho. I missed you. Good to see you.
Oh, heck. You can't leave Idaho out of there, or Lakeview Outdoors.
Yeah, I didn't call you
Did you
late.
get late?
Yeah,
I don't
called
know.
late.
I just wanted to make sure. I might be duplicating. but
We just typed
anyways,
a few minutes ago, Idaho did. So
yeah.
yeah, good to have you. Drop by.
All right, gentlemen, and any ladies that might be out there listening, you all have a nice evening. God bless you. Very, very, very good. I'm going to copy Jamie on the God blessing part there. He does it a little different, but I was trying to copy him. Take it easy, Jamie. You guys have a great evening. God bless.